Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Richard. I'm Richard on the MakeCode Forum.
I'm Joe at J1 on the MakeCode Forum.
And I'm Thomas at Sparks on the MakeCode Forum.
And if you were with us on Monday, we started a new game. So the idea was that mainly I have been playing a lot of Donkey Kong Bonanza for the Switch 2, which is a pretty fun game. And it's a game where you can destroy all of the terrain and stuff. So like you can just break everything basically, which is really fun. And so we wanted to make a game that is based around the idea of destructible terrain. So in this game, we are making a game that we haven't exactly decided 100% what we want the gameplay to be, but we know we want it to be like a side-scroller platformer type thing, but with terrain that gets destroyed. So far, we've written a little physicsy thing to make it so that we can walk on an image, basically. So we have this level defined as an image the size of the screen. So you can see right here, we have this little hill. And our sprite is able to walk on it like it's a tile map, basically. They can't go inside of it, but they get bounced out when they do go inside of it. And we have also made it so that for slopes, we can go up them. So anything that has a slope of 1 pixel, like a difference in elevation of 1 pixel, we'll just like hop on over that. But if you have something like this little, pole that's sticking up right here, this is an insurmountable obstacle for our poor duck. Going in this direction, actually. The duck can get over into this direction because of like how the sprite is sloped. So you can see that even though this looks like it's more than 1 pixel, this is actually just 1 pixel because the leftmost pixel for this duck is aligned with the top pixel of this. So we can't actually go over in this direction, but the slope on the duck is less than this one. So now it's 2 pixels of overlap right there. So we cannot go over it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so there we go. We got a nice little sloping thing here. So the next thing to do is to actually destroy the terrain. So we talked about a few things this game could be. So one idea just being to do something kind of like Donkey Kong Bonanza, where you can walk around and punch, and when you punch, it just takes a hole out of the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured let's just start with that, I guess. I don't think that we can make a full game like that because I don't know, this doesn't scale necessarily. this like world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There's a limit to how big we can make this without just completely crashing the device.
You could shrink the player down and just kind of make it shrink everything so that the screen we have is a little bit feels bigger,
Yeah.
The duck's kind of huge.
Mm-hmm. That could work. Yes. So, let's just do that. Let's just change into a little guy. Let's go 5 by 5. And I'm going to make us rounded on the bottom so that, we have a little bit more leeway to getting over things. So there we go. Now we're just a little guy. Does feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
or did you want to be even smaller?
I think this is fine. We could still have some camera scrolling and stuff if we wanted, but
yeah, we can definitely have some camera scrolling for sure. Okay, well, let's destroy some terrain. All right. So we're just going to make it so that when we press the A button, we're going to carve out like a circle in front of us. That's the idea. So let's do that. We're going to go ahead and do on A button pressed. We're going to grab the image off of our background sprite. So grab this right here. Change this to background. And we're going to, let's see, go into images and grab the fill circle block right here. And we will do this. So I'm just going to arbitrarily put this to the right of our sprite. So what's a good radius for this? Like, I guess we could just use 5 pixels to start. I always judge it wrong on circles.
Yeah, I guess we're talking radius. 5
Yeah.
pixel. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to see.
So it's actually like 10 pixels across.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to make it my sprite x plus 5, my sprite y, and then we want the radius to be 5. And for the color, we're just going to leave it as transparency because we just want to obliterate it. So now when I press A, bam, there we go. We have now like a little tunnel. That's kind of fun. So you can tunnel into the mountain. Oh wait, I kind of really like tunneling. Maybe we do want to make this like a tunneling game.
Mm-hmm.
That is, yeah.
Make official says in all caps, yes. So yeah, we could do that. So if we're going to do that, we're definitely going to have more than just this screen, right? We're going to have things scroll. So let's talk about how we're going to do that. So the obvious way is to just make a really big image, but that's not going to work because there are limits to how big images can be. And also, every single time we make a bigger image, that is going to slow down our overlaps check by more. I don't actually know if it will. I think we're smart enough to not do that. When we do an overlaps check, do we check the smaller of the 2 images, Joey? Do you know? It only really matters if you have a huge image and a small image. So I'm guessing
I think we
don't. Do we?
I would hope we do.
I don't think we do. So if we have a really big image, that's going to slow down our overlaps check. So I think what we're going to do is basically have chunks. This is good because it's going to dovetail nicely into like generation of stuff underground and things too. We can generate like 1 chunk at a time. And by the way, I think at this point we're throwing away any idea of this working on hardware. Let me see. Is there any way we can make this work on hardware?
I think if you generated the content on the fly and then we're pretty aggressive about forgetting anything above you. So
yeah,
the reason why you can't go up. If there's something chasing you or something that's obliterating the ground above you, you're out.
We would have to either make it so that things reset when you go up, or like when they're off screen, or that you just can't go up, like you said.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away some of the fun, I feel like, of being able to make like a little
anthill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you want to preserve it, then yeah, that might be tricky.
We could preserve it by not storing the entire image and just storing like, I don't know how much we would actually save by this in practice, but if we just stored the changed pixels and like, you know, we collapse it down into the range, and then basically have that be like the chunk. So like, say for this, like what I would store is not this entire image. I would store from like here to here, and then just store an offset. And that would be slightly better.
Wouldn't you still have to store the base image though?
No, because we can make our trunk generating deterministic. So we would just regenerate the chunk the exact same way we did it the first time, and then apply the edits on top of it when we reload it.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's not worry about this for now. For now, we're gonna do this scrolling though. So we're gonna have a way to generate chunks and have the thing scroll, and then as we move around, we're gonna want those chunks to, you know, like go up and down and stuff. So we're going to make, let's I don't know, are we going to back ourselves into a hole if we just start writing it with no attention paid to memory? I think maybe we'll be okay. Let's just we'll write a function that's like store chunk or something, and then we can just swap that out later.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. All right. So when we're generating chunks, because we want this to be deterministic, we are going to actually add an extension now, which is going to be, oh shoot, I don't even know what the repo for this is at all. Time to go to Awesome Arcade extensions. There we go. Thank you, OnSign Arduino, who is also the author of this extension. Let's see. Random. There we go. Fast random blocks. This is what I want. Cool. So this is a seeded random generator, which is nice if you want to do something like this. So whenever you're doing procedurally generated games, it's generally a good idea to use seeded randoms because, well, there's a few reasons. One is, you know, a lot of times people like to have seeds that they can share or seeds that they can like reproduce runs that they did and things like that, which is nice. But the other thing that it's good for is when you're doing procedurally generated games, like we're talking about here, a lot of times they are very memory intensive if you're going to store the entire world as you're generating it. For some games, it makes sense to do that. For something like Minecraft, where the entire world is kind of like, you know, generated and destructible and things like that. But with, especially if you're on like low-end devices, it doesn't make sense to store the rooms that you have. Instead, you can just basically store the seed for the room and then just regenerate it on the fly every time, which is great. It means you don't have to store anything except a single number, which is, you know, pretty ideal. All right. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and create an RNG. By default, when we call this create RNG, this will pass a random number in for the seed. We can give it a seed if we want, but we're not going to give it a seed. We're just going to have it just choose a random number. So this is going to be essentially the same as using the random blocks in the math category, unless we decide to like add a UI for doing a seed later. Okay. All right. So I want to make a thing that will generate an image that has layers. All right. So that we're not just going through a bunch of different solid brown chunks. Right. So the idea is going to be that we are going to start, we are just going to draw some layers across the screen. We're going to draw some waves. And we will, I just have some rules about like which colors we switch between, but this will just make it easier for you to keep track of where you are. Now, if I was actually doing this in a game, it would make sense to like get darker as you go down. We only have 16 colors. So unless we want to do some like dithering stuff, which I don't think we do, it's going to be easier to just swap between a couple of colors after like the first layer. But let's draw some wavy lines. So we're going to go ahead and make a function for this. We're going to call this generate chunk. This is going to take in a number, which is going to be the seed. And this is going to take in a number, which will be the depth, which I don't think we're actually going to use right now, but we'll eventually use it. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and call this. We're going to, let's save before we blow up everything. Cool. I'm going to pull out our little test chunk here, and we're going to go ahead and put a return in our thing. So let's go ahead and make a temp image variable. We are going to set our temp image to be a create image, width of 160, height of 120. Go ahead and return it right here. And we're going to, inside of our background, set the image to a call to this function. So call generate chunk. This one up here. And we're going to put in a depth of 0. And we're going to put in a seed of just some numbers. So let's just take our RNG up here. And we're going to go ahead and say RNG next number. Like that. Okay. So make a variable. We're going to call this temp RNG. Whoops, or temp rand. Sure, that actually also works, even though it was a misspelling. We're going to go ahead and create a new RNG in here for when we're generating the chunk. So not the global one. This is just going to be our lower one. And we're going to give it a seed, which is the seed that gets passed in. All right. So we have one global random, which we're using to generate all of the chunks in the thing. But you have to be really careful when you call get number next number on an RNG, because that will change it for all subsequent numbers. So we need to have another random that we can use when we're actually generating the chunk, so that we can call it multiple times if we need to. So we're going to go ahead and create this here, create this image. And let's start by just filling this image up with pixels. So we'll just fill the temp image up with, good old brown. All right. I actually don't know what's going to happen. Okay, our little guy is just stuck up at the top of the screen. Sure. Oh, he just moved up a pixel. That's weird. There we go. You can carve out a little hole. Oh, no. Can't move.
Oh.
All right. Anyway. Okay, so we want to draw some wavy lines across the screen. There's two ways we can do this. One is we could just create a meandering thing and just do a loop ourselves. This would make more natural things. The other thing we could do is just do a sine wave or something with a random phase and frequency. So that'll create more regular looking things. So let's do both because they're pretty easy to do. We're going to have a loop. So we're going to do for element. Oh, not that one. I want for index. The make official says, don't domain names cost money? Or I have no idea what that's in reference to, but yes, you do have to pay for domain names typically.
I think it was when we were going to the Awesome Arcade Extensions website.
Oh yeah, I don't know what Einstein Arduino is paying to have that up. I can't imagine it's very expensive.
Usually you can get them for $10 for a year.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go ahead and grab our image width and subtract 1 because, annoyingly, our for loops are inclusive. And we're going to make a variable. This is going to be our y. All right. And we will set our y to be roughly 1/3 of the way down on our image. So let's set this to be it's 120, so this would be 40. Okay. So we want to just plot a line right now. So we're going to grab the set color app right here, and we're going to set it to be dark purple so we can see it. We're going to set our x to be this index. We're going to set our y to just be this y to start, and we're going to make this be temp image. And we should now see a line being drawn horizontally on this image. Yeah, very exciting. This is a wonderful wave. All right, so let's start by plotting a sine wave. So we're going to go ahead and grab a, let's do math, square root, grab a sine. And we're going to add this to our y. Now, sine ranges from -1 to 1. So we need to multiply this by something to make it so that we're not just, moving in one pixel at a time, basically. So we're going to go ahead and set this to be, let's do a range of, 16 pixels. So this will go up 16 and down 16. So 32 total. And for the sine, we need to put in something that's going to be changing as our x changes. So sine takes an argument in radians. The range of a sine is from 0 to 2 pi. So that is how long it'll take to do a full cycle. So if 2 pi is roughly 6, so we want to take our index, which is going between 160 to 120, and let's say we want it to complete like 4 cycles, right? So we would want it to basically map from 0 to 24, right? So 0 times 6 times, sorry, not 0 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So we would want to have that go 4 times. So we're going to go ahead and just use the math block, even though this is fairly easy math. We're going to, I'm not going to use math block. Let's just do the math. It's easy enough. We're just going to put in our index here, and we are going to divide it by, let's see. So we want to go from 0 to 24. We're going to from 0 to 160 right now. So what 160 divided by what is 24? That's divided by 8. 7 times 24 is 140 plus 28 is 168. So yeah, 7 roughly. We don't care about being precise. It's just, you know, a thing. All right, there we go. We are plotting out a nice little sine wave now. Let's make it so that it's not quite so. Let's down our range. Let's make it 8 pixels instead of 16. There we go. All right. And you can see we have these gaps. We're not going to worry about that right now, but we will have to do something about this eventually. So we want to have our color shift below this. So instead of just doing a set pixel, we'll probably do a fill rect instead. So we're just going to like fill the pixels down to a certain amount. And then when we draw our next wave, we will fill from that point down to our next wave and then a different color down to the bottom, right? So we're going to try to do like 2 waves per layer, I guess. Is that going to be weird if we do 2 per layer? No, it'll be okay. I was thinking like it might be weird because that may mean we have like 3/4 of one color and 1/4 of whatever color is in the middle. But I think we just need to mess with the numbers to get that to all work out nicely. Do you get what I'm saying?
Kind of. I can get it. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna take this set pixel. We're gonna swap it with a fill rectangle. So let's grab a fill rectangle right here. Do our same arguments for X and Y. We're going to change this to be that. We're going to make our width be 1. We're going to make our height be, let's see. So we want to go down to some like set thing, right? So let's go to like half the screen height. We're gonna center this like band that we're making basically. So we want to go down to 60 from wherever our current position is. So to make that happen, we just want to do 60 minus whatever our current y is. And so what we should see now is a wave that's flat on the bottom at halfway point of the screen. Yeah, so looks good. Why did this one? I'm not going to worry about that. I guess it's some rounding error.
Oh.
It's a little weird. I don't know.
All right, cool. So let's draw the next one. So we're going to set y to be now 40 pixels from the bottom. So that's going to be 80. And we're going to go ahead and draw another band here. So this is going to draw nothing right now because we are currently drawing down to our height of 60. And because 80 is greater than 60, that means we're drawing nothing. We're giving it a negative height. It's just not going to draw anything. And instead, we're just going to change this to be 120, which is the height of our screen. And now we should have, there we go. Another thing, filling in with purple. I guess we need to do 120 plus 1. So make it 121. Really, we don't even have to put this equation in here because we're going off the screen. We can just put like that, and that'll work just fine. So, okay. And we want to actually make this one be brown, right? So the idea here is that we want this to be brown, purple in the middle, and then brown down at the bottom again. So what we want to do is we basically want to draw purple rectangles going up to this center line instead of going down, which is what we're currently doing. All right. So to do that, we are going to get rid of this little y argument that we're doing, and instead we are just going to putting in 60 because we wanted to just be drawing from that center line. We're going to leave the width at 1, and then for the height, this is where we're going to be doing this. We basically want to do this argument minus 60, I believe. And there we go. Okay, so we have an off by 1 error. You can see we have this center line of brown in the middle. So we want to go ahead and adjust that. So let's do, I guess we'll just draw this from 59 instead of from 60. There we go. Okay. All right. So now we have this center
chocolate cake.
Yeah, basically. It looks like some sort of dessert for sure. All right, so this looks pretty bad, I think. Doesn't look natural at all. Everything is all lined up. So let's add some randomness to this. So there's two kind of parameters we can mess with here, right? So one of them is the frequency. So that's how close together these points are on the waveform. And then the other one we can mess with is the phase. So that is the point at the wave in which we start, right? So right now we're starting at the same point for sine. Sine starts out at 0, right? Sine of 0 is 0, right? Is that right?
Looks like, based on what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah, so sine starts at 0, but we could shift this so that we do like a sine and a cosine or something. So cosine is 90 degrees off from sine. But, so let's do that. We're going to make a variable. We're going to call this phase. And we are going to set this to, we're going to take our random generator here. And we're going to do, let's see, random. We want to get next number. What is this return again? Between 1, okay, so this returns an integer. Cool. So we want to take our next number and use this to generate a random angle between 0 and 2 pi. So actually, I'm not going to use this. I'll use the random number between this because it's easier for me to think about. And we're going to set this to be 360. We'll just do this as degrees. And we're going to take this and to convert degrees into radians, you want to divide by 180 and then multiply times pi, which is 3.14. And put that right there. And now we're going to go ahead and add our phase to this sine that we're calculating. So instead of doing index divided by 7, we're going to do index divided by 7 plus phase. Like that. All right. So we should see this top one change. Nope. That's weird. We must be passing in a seed that's like always 0 or something. Oh, this is RNG. Wait, this should be temp rand. That still doesn't explain why it's always being the same. Okay, it's possible that Unsigned Arduino's extension requires you to put in a seed.
Seed, yeah.
So let's put in the seed. We're going to go ahead and grab a pick random, and we're going to pick a random from 0 to 99999. Actually, not 0. 0 is bad. 1 to 99999. There you go. Okay, now it's shifting around. So you can see what the phase is doing. It's just moving the wave, just like translating it basically.
Mhm.
Ah, you know what this looks like? This looks like Charlie Brown's shirt. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay, so we want to do the same thing down here. So we're going to go ahead and set our phase to be, again, another number. And we're going to change this argument to have the phase plus index divided by 7. All right. Next thing we want to do is the frequency. So let's go ahead and make a variable. We're not going to call this frequency. We'll call this like, well, we'll call it like frequency divisor or something. We're not actually going to be generating a frequency thing here because I don't even know what that would really mean. We're just going to be replacing this 7 that we have with something else. And it's going to be a randomly chosen number. So let's go ahead and do a random number between. And we're going to do a random number between 6 and 13. And we'll do the same thing here. There we go. Okay. I think we should probably skew it higher. Right? It looks really bad whenever there's like these close together ones.
Mm-hmm. The bottom one there is about as close together as they still look good.
I think it looks bad. I think we should just like do something like, I think that's probably what we had before, which was 7. Let's make it 8 even.
Good.
That's a bit better. It's going to look better once we increase the width of this, because we are going to increase the width of this. So right now they're really close together, so it looks kind of, you know, weird. It looks really good when they line up right, though, like this. This looks really nice. Anyway. Okay. Is there a mathematical relationship that would make it so that these line up nicely? I guess it would just be to align the phase. So if I don't regenerate the phase. Yeah, that lines up better, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we don't regenerate the phase entirely, but we change it by some amount.
Yeah, just like a little bit of a random shift.
Just like a little bit of a jitter. Pandemic Official says it's just a phase, Mom. Yep, it really is. Okay, so we're going to change our phase. There we go. By so I don't want to change it by a 1 or -1 because that's a lot for radians. So we want to get something, but this random number only works with integers. So if we want to change it, we're going to have to basically choose an integer of a higher value and then divide it. So let's go from -5 to 5 divided by 10. Yeah, so just like a little less aligned, which is nice. I still think it looks bad when we have the lower ones, so I'm going to up this even more. Let's just do like 10 to 14. There we go. It's starting to look nice, I think.
Yep.
Should we mess with the depth too? No, it won't matter once we kind of make it wider. Let's just make it wider. Okay, so if we want this to be roughly half the screen instead of right now where it's like, I don't know, this is like about a third of the screen, I would say. So right now we're ranging from 40 to 80. Those are our two center lines, basically. So we would probably want to just change these two Y values a bit. I don't know. Let's just make it 20 and 60. I mean, and 100. I mean, that's probably too much, but there you go. That's too much. So split the difference. I guess, let's see. We were doing 1/3 before, which was 40. And now this is 1/5. So I guess we want to do 1/4, which is 30. Oh, right. That makes sense. Duh. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's about 50% there. Cool. All right. So, great. We have a nice little thing for generating these banded images, which is nice. Let's actually change this up a little bit. So we're going to, right now we're just filling the image with this background color. I want to change that. So we're going to instead do just fill recs to fill up this top part as well. So it's going to be nice and easy to do. We're basically just going to be taking this same thing that we're doing, and we're going to pass in a Y of 0 and then pass in this as our height and then set this to be brown. So let's pull out our fill. And this might be off by 1. No, it works. Yeah. So now we're filling it up, but we're not doing all of this extra pixel setting. And it's also going to matter because we're going to say if depth equals 0, because that is the top, we're not going to do this. So let's do if depth does not equal 0. There we go. And now we have, you know, some sky for our little guy to exist in the top. And let's go ahead and fill out the bottom now. So we're going to be doing the same thing here. We're going to be taking this Y argument that we have, putting that right there. And then for the height, we can put in just a really high number and change this to brown. All right, so this one has an off by 1. Okay, so do this -1. That's not right. There we go. Cool. Okay. All right. Got a nice little chunk generator, kind of.
Nice.
You can only tunnel this way because we made it so that the thing is always to the right.
Hmm.
It's kind of limiting.
We could make a little indicator and make it so when you hold B, it rotates around.
Oh, God. I think maybe we'll just make it so that you animate and you know, have different sprites for different images. You know, let's I mean different directions. Let's do that right now. We're going to add the character animations extension. And we are going to do the dumbest possible animation for our character. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Nice. All right, we're going to recreate our guy as he currently looks. Oops. Like this. And we're going to give him an eye. And make this facing right. Facing left. Flip it. There we go. Look at that. Look at this little dude. All right. And now we want to make it so that when we press A to generate the hole, we want to do that. By the way, I guess we should invert these colors since for the first chunk, we actually wanted this to be like brown as opposed to the darker color. Let's invert these real quick. We're going to change this to...
Could make that first chunk green if you wanted. But...
Yeah, that's true. That's not a bad idea. Let's do that. But we're still going to invert them. So we're going to make this be dark purple. Make this one be brown. Dark purple. Wait. No. Brown. Dark purple. And then for... Oh, wait, no. Wait. We don't want to invert it if we make the first one green. Right.
Oh, yeah, we just want to go green, brown.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go ahead and say, if depth does not equal 0, we're going to do this. Otherwise, we're going to do just the bottom part, and we're going to make the color green. And, well, that messed it up. Oh, no. Wait, this should be inside an else. And then right here, we're going to say, if depth does not equal 0, then we're going to do these. Else, we're going to, I guess the bottom one is going to be the same either way, but we want to change the color if depth equals 0. Wait a second, I messed this up. Undo. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the one we want to change, this purple one right here. So I'm going to put this one up here, duplicate, put this right here, make this green. There we go. Cool. All right. Okay, so we have our little chunk generator. Also, hi, Brohan. Which is cool, but we want to make it so that we can actually go downwards and more chunks are going to like form, right? So to do that, we're going to need to basically handle our scrolling. The other thing we need to do right now is we need to make it so that our guy cannot jump off the edge of the world. Gone forever. So let's go ahead and just lock us to this screen. Inside of our on-game update, we're going to go ahead and say down here at the bottom of this physics biz. Oh, actually, I don't want to set BX. I want to set the left. We're going to set our values left to be max of left and 0. And we're going to set our right to be the min of right and our screen width, which is 160, but I'll be a good person and grab it from here, even though I didn't in the other code that we wrote. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we should not be able to run off the world. We get stopped at the edges. So cool. All right. It's kind of satisfying to watch him just kind of like skip over these little hills. Yeah. It's like, what was that mobile game? With the bird in the hills. It was popular on iDevices.
The one where you're trying to time the arcs.
Yeah. Oh, if someone can parse what I just said and figure it out, please let me know. Not Angry Birds. I know Angry Birds. But no, it was like a bird going over hills, and you had
tiny
like,
wings. Tiny
wings. Thank you.
There we go.
There you go. So it's like these smooth hills, and you had this bird, and if you like press, you like are like accelerating or going downwards, and you had to like time it so that you got like the most air, basically. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it was a really pretty game. So okay, looks like I messed something up here. There we go. Put that back. All right. Cool. Okay. So we want to generate some more chunks. So we're going to have ourselves scroll down. So at any time, the most chunks that we can be overlapping with is 2, right? Because each one is the size of the screen. Obviously our player is inside our screen. So when we end up overlapping between the top chunk and the bottom chunk, that's at most going to be 2 that we're overlapping with, even though our guy is little, so it'll just be a little bit. Still, it's a good idea to make it so that, we do this right. So we're going to basically have, right now we have this background. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this. We're going to make a new variable. We're going to call this bottom chunk. And we're going to call this top chunk. Like that. And this is all unhappy now because instead of, okay, wait, undo. Right. I created a new variable instead of renaming it. I want to rename background to top chunk. There we go. All right. Whoa, what happened over here? Oh, right, we have 2 chunks now. So one of these is a secret one. That's, yeah.
I kind of like it.
It does look kind of nice, right? We can mess with our chunk generation later, but for now, let's go ahead and what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna make 2 functions now. Let's get rid of this. We're gonna make a function which is gonna be called load chunk, and it's gonna take in an index. And we're going to make a function which is going to be unload chunk, which is going to take in an index. And we're not going to fully implement these right now, but the idea here is that we want to make sure that we're calling like our chunks in like a deterministic way. So right now, we are not going to unload our chunks. We're just going to create an array of chunks, and we're going to store them. So let's go and create an array. We're going to call this all chunks. And we're going to set this to be, to start out, empty. And now right here, we are going to load a new chunk. So to load a new chunk, we want to basically first check, is this chunk seed already, well, is this chunk already in our array, right? So if the length of our chunks array, all chunks array, is greater than index, then we're just going to return whatever is in our array. There we go. If that's not the case, then we are going to loop and generate, well, we'll return it down here at the bottom. I guess what actually be a little bit better for us to say that if the length of the array is less than or equal to the index, then we'll do this and we'll just have one return statement down here at the bottom. So we want to generate all of the chunks we need to get up to this index, all right? So this might be like 5 chunks down or something. So I don't think it actually will based on how we're implementing the game, but it makes sense to basically keep track of this. So that we don't, like if we are like falling really fast or something, we don't, go off the world and skip a bunch of chunks and then end up leaving holes in our array. So we're going to do a while loop here. And we're going to say while our length of array is greater than or equal to, wait, this is not right. Length of the array is less than or equal to. And actually, we don't even need a if statement because, this while loop will serve as that. So while our length of array is less than or equal to index, we are going to do array add value to end, make this all chunks. And we're going to call generate chunk. And for the depth, we are going to put in the length of our array, because that's equal to the index. And then for the seed, we're going to grab that next number from our random number generator. All right, there you go. So we're going to go ahead and take our top chunk here, and we're going to, instead of calling generate chunk directly, we're going to call load chunk. And we're going to load this as 0. And then for this one, we're going to load chunk 1. All right. And now we have this weird monstrosity because we have 2 chunks, but they have different, like, wait, actually, I don't know what is currently happening.
Yes, this is,
You added acid pools.
It's possible that when we were refactoring our thing for the first chunk, we messed up subsequent chunks. Let's pull this guy out. And so we're going to load chunk 0 and see if that looks right. That looks right. Load chunk 1. Yeah, okay, so that's not right. Generate chunk, we messed up this bit. Okay, well, no, wait, that one worked. Okay, this one did not work. Okay, so right here we are doing, okay, this should be the same length as this. I see, the index got pulled out here. All right, that was the problem. Cool.
there you go. Yep.
All right. Okay, so we're going to load our bottom chunk, and we're going to set our bottom chunk top to be the bottom of our top chunk. All right, and we're now going to do camera movement so we can actually move between these. So we should now have, oh wait, that didn't work. Set bottom chunk top to top chunk bottom. Oh, I'm passing in 1 for both of these. Make that be 0. There we go. So we need to make our camera move. So we can't move left or right of the screen, right? We just want to, so we want to lock ourselves in there, but we want to have our camera move up and down depending on the Y of our guy. So inside of our on-game update, we're going to go ahead and grab the center camera at, and we're going to go ahead and put in a static X, which is going to be 80, which is halfway through the screen. And then for the Y, we are going to set it to be max of, and this is going to be the Y of our sprite, and then whatever we want the minimum to be. So we don't want it to actually like scroll up. So right now you can see we're like scrolling like above the world, though I guess that's not actually that bad. No, it's a little weird when we go over hills, I guess, but it's all right. It's not bad.
It's kind of satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to see like once we're actually playing the game and not just going up and down how it feels, but it's fine for now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're just going to center our Y like that. And now we can actually, oh, let me make it so I can dig to the left. Okay, so right here, we're going to go ahead and say if, we're going to go into character animations. We're going to do is, and we're going to say is facing right, else do minus. And I'm also going to make it so that this goes down 1. So we're going to do my sprite Y plus 1 for both of these. So it's just a little more angled downwards. All right. So dig, 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 dig. All right. This is. I gotta say, this is terrible controls. All right. So we're gonna get down to the bottom and then woo, yeah. So we only have collision set up for our top chunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have not written any code to load more chunks as we fall. So we're going to go to everywhere that we're referencing our top chunk now. And we want to make sure that we also do the same thing with our bottom chunk, right? Okay, so we have this top chunk right here. We're just going to duplicate this code for our bottom chunk, these overlap checks. I don't know if this is going to cause weird stuff to happen, but it'll be fine. All right. That does that. And then we want to do this same thing for our bottom chunk. This might cause some weird stuff when you're on the edges. Let's not worry about it. All right, cool. I think that should take care of the physics. So we should now be able to dig down and then drop down. Okay, I'm just gonna make it so we dig straight down. This is annoying me. We'll have to figure out exactly what we want to do for the dig controls here, but you know what? We'll make it so that we just dig around ourselves for now. So I'm just gonna set the X and the Y like this. And I'm going to set a radius of like 13. That's a lot. There you go. Boom. Dig on down. All right. Okay, right. So we need to also do this for our bottom chunk, right? So right now our digging code is specific to our top chunk and not our bottom chunk. And also our digging code is also very specific to the thing being aligned at the origin of the world, right, which is 0, 0. So we actually want to take this my sprite x and my sprite y, and we want to subtract. Actually, we don't care about the x, but for the y, we want to subtract the top of our sprite so that we like know that we're aligned. So we're going to go ahead and do chop chunk top, and then we're going to duplicate this, make this be bottom chunk, just do the same thing. And when we're up inside the top chunk, this is just not going to do anything because it's just going to be completely out of bounds. But once we're starting to overlap, this should, you know, do that. All right, cool. So now we're going through, we've gone over to the bottom chunk and we can fall out the world. All right. So what we need to do here basically is we need to be constantly swapping our chunks. All right. So once we get down to a point in which we should unload the top chunk, we're going to take the top chunk, make it the bottom chunk. Wait, sorry. Take the bottom chunk, make it the top chunk, and then load a new chunk for the bottom. And we're just going to keep doing like that. We could also just make it so that we like flip-flop between the two. But I like knowing which one's the top and which one's the bottom when we're like referencing it, because I feel like that's going to come into physics later. We're going to need to do something with that. So just for consistency's sake, I'm going to keep these variables. We're out of time for today, though. So tune in on Monday is when we're going to be working on this game next, because on Friday, we're going to be doing the Game Jam stream. So the theme for July was game show games. And I think we have all of 2 submissions right now. So it's going to be a real quick one. So maybe we will end up working on this game on Friday. Who knows?
Maybe we'll spend a half-hour deep dive on both the games. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe they're real deep. But I think what we've learned here, and really we should have learned this lesson last year because I think the exact same thing happened, is that people are busy in July. But yeah, it would be cool if we could, as we're digging, like also like shoot a fire hose of other stuff to like build land back up. You know, because right now, yeah, right now if I like obliterate all of this, like now I don't know if I can. Oh yeah, I still have enough like land to get back up there, but like you can like obliterate it to a point where you can't get back up. But all right, Pimming says, or make people submit games to play in chat. Yeah, I mean, if you do submit a game to play in chat, just like any day, we will play the games. So, but Friday especially, because that's basically all we're going to be doing. So if you do have any games you want us to play, please just bring them to stream on Friday. All right, and I think that's it for today. I'm Richard at Richard on the MakeCode Forum.
I'm Joey at J1 on the MakeCode Forum.
And I'm Thomas at Sparks on the MakeCode Forum.
And really, I'm kind of surprised we haven't done this before, because this is really fun. I'm having fun just doing these little things where there's no purpose to the game, So, yeah. Anyway, all right. See you later, everybody.
Bet.